Okie dokie then, here we go. Finally, we got them in and we have a game. Welcome back to IDL Season 7. I'm Falcus. Today we have got, what are these teams called again? ShiShuli going up against Business Mice. This is definitely sort of underdogs going up against tyrants, I will say. Not tyrants, but pretty big. Pretty big team with high average MMR going up against a team with not a lot of MMR by comparison. I think there's sort of been an issue that around the midpoint of what Div 2 would usually be, there have not been a lot of teams sign up with that sort of MMR. Hence, Div 1 has kind of had a couple of teams pushed into it that are maybe looking on the low side for Div 1, but who knows? We could see big upsets regardless. I'm Volkus. I am joined today by no one. So instead of leaving an empty space, I thought I'd put up this lovely picture of Barack Obama, because in the great words of the Corrigan brothers, there is no one as O'Leary O'Hara. What is it? O'Leary O'Reilly O'Hara O'Hara. There's no one as Irish as Barack Obama. Obviously, I think. Actually, I don't know. Did the song come first, or did the petrol station come first? Someone will have to remind me on that. But I'm pretty sure there's a big Obama Plaza petrol station in Ireland. But we are going into the bans now. Bans coming out for ShiShuli is Snap not wanting to go up against that. It's been very strong recently. Io and Doom. I think the Io is a bit of a weird ban, if anything. And then Business Mice banning out the Clockwork, the Zeus, and the Venomancer. I think they're more interested with Clockwork, reasonably strong and competent at the moment, but Zeus feels like a weird ban for me, and a little bit the Veno as well. Like, Veno's not a bad pick, but not necessarily, I wouldn't say sort of first ban phase material, absolutely, unless maybe targeted a little bit. I'm not super familiar with these two teams. ShiShuli does have two new players. I'm not certain if these are stand-ins or permanent replacements. But two players that weren't previously listed, I think, of comparable MMR. So I don't think that's going to shove them up massively. But first picks coming out with Treant Protector and Dawnbreaker. So the big-thighed lady herself returning. I think Dawnbreaker could be a really nice first pick, but they haven't necessarily banned to negate, you know, Dawnbreaker getting countered. There could still be a Silencer pickup, a Nyx pickup, anything that can cancel that ult coming in, really. The Hoodwink ban coming out on Business Mice. Yeah, so we're going to see the next pick on ShiShuli. I guess they could, if they wanted to, like, pick a Silencer instead of banning it. Remains to be seen. Don't know if they'll do it. Bans coming out. What we got? Tinker and a Terrorblade ban coming out. Okay, so starting to focus on some calls, maybe. Coming out with the Rubik. So, could be a fun one. Definitely gonna be looking at what the enemy team's picking. They're gonna have to think about it, really. I also just want to throw out that we've got two teams with actual banners. You can't see that, but well, don't get too excited, but they're actual banners. They're not just the logo, sort of half the logo split on the screen, as has previously been done. I'm not sure what either team is looking for yet. We'll sort of see that develop throughout this next pick phase here. I don't know if there was a draft penalty implemented. I think draft penalty is at 20 minutes late, and I don't know if they maybe just made it in time on ShiShuli to not have to deal with that. So remains to be seen. Shadow Fiend coming out. So an early carry pickup, or could be a mid laner, but I think more commonly seen in the carry at the moment. We saw this yesterday in Div 2. We saw a pretty strong Shadow Fiend come out. Oh, and a Pudge. Oh, I'm a happy boy. Love a Pudge. Love to play a Pudge. Love to watch a Pudge. It's just a fun hero all round. I would usually say I'll be quite judgy of what they pick on the Pudge, but like what items they pick up and what they skill build. But given that this team is so high ranked and I am so not high ranked, you know, I'll maybe have to be a little bit careful with that one, you know. My opinions are humble and from the Archon perspective, and that's a scrape at the moment. I've dropped a lot. I'm practically in Crusader now, as embarrassing as that may be. I think Taylor said that he reckons that these two replacements are permanent on the side of ShiShuli as they pick up the Largo. Both of these pickups here could be pos 3s, could be supports. Personally, bigger fan of the support pudge, but I know that it's been, do you know what I mean? It's been around in the pos 3 recently this patch. So, you know, not impossible, just not my personal preference. Largo, on the other hand, I'm actually not sure what's going on with Largo right now. I mean, obviously not having a co-caster here, an analyst, chat, that's your job today. If you have an opinion on anything I've said, please feel free to shout it out. Obviously there is a delay, but I'll pick it up eventually. Yeah, I mean, the Largo, I think he's feeling a little bit weaker after the patch, but, you know, still could go either way, and the Necro coming out. Also, I'm calling out that the Largo could be offlane. There's a fucking Dawnbreaker. I'm so sorry. That's my bad on that one. I'm pretty sure there's going to be Dawnbreaker offlane, which puts this Necrophos in the mid lane. Actually, probably pushes that Rubik into the 5 position, which is sort of a new one in the current meta. Previously, I feel he's been pretty heavy in the pos 4 instead, wanting a little bit of extra gold for those items, but other than kind of wanting a blink on the Rubik, which is very greedy in a pos 5, he's doing a little bit better now with the Curiosities, that passive that he got when the facets were removed. What are we going to pick up here on Business Mice? So they know what the mid lane is going to be now. Unless this is going to be a carry Necro, which isn't impossible, they need to make the decision whether they're going to stick with the Shadow Fiend or not. In terms of what that matchup's actually like, honestly, I'm not the man to ask. I'm barely really a mid player, and it feels like it could go either way. The Shadow Fiend pumping out a decent amount of magic damage, which makes the W on Necro not as useful, but also heavy right clicks, so could be good, could be bad. Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe bad, or maybe shit. But also this could massively come down to a skill diff here. I think the difference in these pos 2 players. Oh, but the puck comes out, so that is going to push that Shadow Friend into the safe lane. Puck into Necro here. The silence is nice, a lot of magic damage, which Necro doesn't love to have to deal with because he struggles to avoid it, so definitely a game to pick up some magic resistance on the Necrophos. Probably those new wraps. Maybe leave it to someone else if they want to get a pipe. Just looking at ShiShuli here, the new players are so Rinkaroo, Denza, and Pivasikid are the ones that were previously signed up. So Rerax and Viroy are missing, replaced by 7 Deadly Sins and Surf, which should be the permanent replacements now. So interesting to see how they perform. I did get set a Dota buff before, I think for... Well, I can't remember at this point, but for someone. And they were around Divine 2, so I think similar rank of players. I mean, interesting to know that if we disregard... Oh, the Last Hit Academy have had their 5th player added now. Previously, they were down here with 4 players. But other than Last Hit Academy, who have a similar average MMR to ShiShuli, if not a little lower, ShiShuli actually, their highest rank player is lower rank than every other team's lowest rank player. So if you listed out these 2 teams by rank, it would go all of Business Mice's and then all of ShiShuli. So that just gives you an idea of the sort of the rank difference here. But obviously rank's not going to be everything. It does give a fairly good indicator if you were going to place a bet. You know, I'd probably go with the one with more rank. But yeah, we could see some difference in coordination, some difference in plays. Remains to be seen. So the final bans were Phoenix and Shadow Demon. So banning out those... They're banning out supports here. So they're assuming that Pudge is going to be a pos 3. They're banning out pos 4s. They've got rid of technically a couple of save supports. Phoenix not so much, but does have that heal. Could be really nice here if they get the lockdown with the Treant Protector. So I think a decent ban if that Pudge is going to be a 3. And on the other side, on Business Mice, they ban out Invoker and Huskar. So they seem to think this Necro could be a carry. So Business Mice coming out with the Sang... That's a point. I've just realized their in-game name, Business Mice. The name on the website that I'm guessing they signed up with is Business Mices. And all I can think is, no cheeses for us Mises. Sanky coming out here, I think that's going to be the offlane. Pushes the Pudge into 4. I think that's kind of nice. I think Pudge 3 is going to struggle here into a Necrophos. So I think even if you were considering that in a core position, good to just go, fuck that, move it off to the side, happy days. And now ShiShuli. So as I say, they banned the Invoker and they banned the Huskar. I think just getting rid of stuff they didn't want to deal with the Puck. Maybe thinking that with the Puck pickup, ShiShuli might try and shift that Necrophos. I don't know. Maybe they have a little more information. I'm sure they've researched their opponents. Could have, could not have. I have no idea. But I personally have not had a chance to research these teams today. So I'd hope they have more information than I have. So on the chat, Rinkaku is it Rinkaku? It's Rinkaroo in here. Oh, right. I don't know if that's a piss take or not. It's my friend is very, very big shit. Very nice. It's always bad, though, when people say that, like, you know, the Divine or Immortal or Ancient players are shit, and you're sat there at fucking Archon or Crusader or whatever, and you're just going, well, don't know what I am, then. It's a bit of a scale where I guess there's an argument that if you're just sort of in the average area, you're there to have fun. You haven't tried. Dragon Knight. This is not what I thought was going to come out here necessarily. Thought they'd maybe line up some right-click damage, but they've gone big on the survivability. They've gone huge on the survivability across the board here for ShiShuli. You know, they got that Dawnbreaker who's going to come in with the ult, gets the heal off the passive that I can't remember the name of from hitting people. They've got the Largo with the healing song, the Necro with the Death Pulse, and now just a Dragon Knight who is just lots of armor, lots of regen, lots of sustain. Meanwhile, the other side, not really having, you know, the Necro or any sort of like healing. Well, healing stopping? That is not the way I wanted to say that. But no anti-healing available, really. Yeah, not really sure how they're going to deal with this. Urn definitely going to be a valuable pickup here. Honestly, Crozier, but I'm not sure who they'd get the Crozier on. The new item that basically gives you the Necro ability, but the ability to steal the regen would be really good value here. I mean, with the Shadow Fiend and the Puck and the Sand King, I think they've chanced to just sort of nuke people down. Don't really have a huge combo for that Treant Protector ult, but I mean, they do just generally have a lot of lockdown. They've got the Sand King Epi. They could make some good value out of that, but they are going to have to focus these kills, get them down, and finish them off. Like, they can't leave anyone on a little bit of health, because chances are ShiShuli are just going to manage to heal them up big time. So all remains to be seen. I actually want to see if there's any chat between the teams. There wasn't. Never mind then. Yeah, but we've got the Pudge skin with the pig. I don't see a lot of that, I feel. But yeah, if I had to back a team here, you know what? I'm going to really enjoy watching this Pudge, but I have to say the ShiShuli draft feels like it could do very well. I think it very heavily depends on whether or not Business Mice can just get in there and take them down fast and efficiently. But let's head on over to our game and see what happens, because I can only make vague predictions like any of us could. Gonna have to watch it all unfold if we want to see what's really gonna happen. So here we go. Coming out on the Radiant this time is ShiShuli with Business Mice rolling out on the Dire. No smokes out yet, but they have made this gutter run. They're using the river for the extra speed. There's the smoke pop. They're going to head up to the top lane through the gate. Oh no, this could be cat. They might manage to catch out Wetorm here. Is it Wetorm or Wetorm? Wetormy? Well, we'll just call him Wet. Oh, they're coming up. They're coming up with the smoke. Maybe not the catch they could have had. They've seen the Sand King, but then they notice Emo on the side there, looking to chase down the Puck, but that's going to be a very hard catch. Bramix here, sitting in the trees. He's a tree himself, so probably feeling at home there, but invis, and there's no vision here. There's no wards down. Probably won't be for a little while in this area. They'll be saving those for the lanes. And here we go. 2 runes apiece. All that effort and nothing to come of it. You know, can't complain too much. They did nearly have the ability for catch. I actually think it was kind of interesting the way they did pan down this river section and then come up these stairs here instead of just, you know, cutting straight down past the tower or something and coming through the jungle here. But they did run into the heroes, just maybe making a little bit of an incorrect decision, not able to chase down that Sand King. So, setting up into the lanes, it is actually... Well, where is this? Okay, so it is carry Necrophos. They predicted correctly that they needed to ban mids, and it's actually going to be this DK in the mid lane. So DK into Puck. I think Puck does okay here. Other than the breath, if Puck can avoid getting hit in the melee range like he just did, it should be fairly okay. But the DK should be able to sit in this lane. I don't see either of them getting killed if they play it well. Bot lane, Sand King Pudge could be a force to be reckoned with. It's actually a POS 5 Dawnbreaker with the Largo in the off lane and support Rinkaroo here on the Rubik. So I think I was wrong in the majority of my predictions here for where the lanes were going to go on ShiShuli. They've given me the runaround at least. But it feels like they didn't have the sort of sly hand they were looking for over Business Mice as... you know, with the bans on the mids in that last pick phase, it feels like they knew that Necro was going to be going carry. So, going to be an interesting one to see how this all plays out. We do have a pause, apparently due to mouse lag. I don't think that's the Business Mice lagging, though. Although, if the Business Mice have any sort of... You know, how... Are they good, honest Business Mice, or are they dirty Business Mice? Because if they have some dirt on the mice over at ShiShuli, you know, we don't know what kind of blackmail could be going on here to make the mice act up over on ShiShuli's desks. We have a lick going on up here. What an action shot, you know? Look at that. The little water. I mean, look at this water. Like, I'm sure it's just the water effect off another hero, because that's usually what Dota does. It's a bit like how Invoker's Ice Walls appear on the side of Jakiro's Aghanim Scepter Macropire. But that is a lot of water for Largo to have had in his mouth. Like, that's a lot of saliva. You know? I actually think it makes it feel like the worst bit of being licked by Largo. Well, I mean, you're getting licked, so you're expecting the saliva, but that's a lot. You know? Like, how did look at all that, and then look at this little guy's head. You can't compress water. Like, it is the mass it is. You know, most liquids, you can compress them into a solid. Not the water. Not the way water works. Hydrogen bonds. Or something along those lines. Okay, we get a Great Western Rail, and the game will resume. Both mid laners very low here. Could spell trouble. I didn't think either of them would really be dying, but obviously a couple of levels in, not taking anything in Worm's Wrath yet. Did this used to be called Dragon's Blood? Oh, they've completely changed it. Never mind. Dragon's Blood is on the innate now. I've clearly not looked at this in quite a while, but he will be regenning up here. Top lane, Rubik having a little bit of trouble. Privasikid on the Largo. Still trying to sort of hover around in this lane. He's doing okay. Oh, here comes the damage, though. Weetorm landing those razors, and there are two very unhealthy Radiant heroes up in this top lane. Well, bot Bloom already on it with the stacking. I think he's taken that small camp for himself, or the large camp, and the Ancients have been stacked for future use. I'm assuming for the Sand King here, who would be able to epi and pick them up if he wants to at level 6. Sorry, just catching up with chat. Taylor does suggest Sand King's spell build into a Crozier. So, yeah, it could be really nice to deal with all of that regen and armor that they'll have. But speaking of the Sand King, the bullet, oh, the hook from the Fudge. Walks in, threat of hook available. First blood picked up on the enemy carry. Now looking for Denza. Can't quite finish it off and doesn't want to dive the tower on such low health. Does have a mango. Hook in 4 seconds. Largo died top as well in the meantime. Went down to Weetorm. Here he goes with the hook. There it is. He gets the catch. And there is the finish with the Rotner right click. Little kill onto the Dawnbreakers. The Necro now alone in lane, but the enemy's lacking resources really to deal with him. Although a nice little cookie picked up there for the Sand King. So top lane, Wedorm having a fairly good time of it. Picked up the kill onto the Largo. Rinkaroo struggling to sit around in this lane. This could cause trouble for them. You know, they're shutting down this safe lane on Business Mice, and then if they're winning their safe lane as well, win lanes, win game is usually the saying. Mid lane, again, both very low, but neither dying quite yet. In terms of last hits, carry's doing well. Mid's got a little bit of disparity, but nothing that can't be caught up, and Largo lagging behind the cause a little bit with only 11 last hits. Stacks there again from the Putka. You know, this is some... I mean, look, it's some great supporting. It's not something I would ever do. I'm not selfless enough. Actually, I just don't respect my cause enough, you know? Bloom making his way into the mid lane, though. They're looking for this kill on to the DK. He's holding that hook. There it is! And he hits it, but he's put him up onto the high ground, and now he's under the tower. Bloom gonna manage to finish off, though. Rinkaroo TPing in, but too little too late from the Radiant support. Lovely hook there. Holding it out. Sometimes the threat of the hook is enough to make the enemies, you know, they try and dodge. They don't quite run away in a direct line because they don't want to get hooked, and it slows them down, meaning you can catch up to them and get them with the rot instead. Not the case, though. The DK was going to be running out up the river, and yeah, Bloom just doing a great job at the moment. Very selfless game so far. Stacking those Ancients once again. How many stacks do we have now? Is that for number 4? It's hard to tell because there are so many of these Granite Golems. How many big Granite Golems? Not sure. Surf coming back into the mid lane. Full resources. Goes in with the stun. Doesn't quite do anything after, though. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, Bloom picking up another kill on Denza. My god. 4 Flesh Heap at 5 minutes. This is incredible. So anyone who doesn't know, Flesh Heap was recently, I say recently, it was a few weeks now, but was increased to 2 strength from a previous, I think like 1.5 or something, but you know, it's really big, 2 strength. He's got an extra 8 strength. He's nearly got a free Ogre Staff, which would be 1,000 gold. You know, I was going to say you can't buy that kind of strength, but I just clearly said you could. You could get an Ogre Staff, but he doesn't need to. Doesn't need to. Is playing into a Necro, though, but if the Necro has to focus on your pos for Pudge, he's not focusing on your other heroes. Speaking of other heroes, Largo going down in the top lane once again. Weetorm having a great time here, sitting on 20 souls and just clearly pumping out the damage. It's that like 121 damage. It's a mid-afternoon on a Sunday. I don't want to do maths. I'm also, well, I wouldn't say I'm hungover, but, you know, not perfect. Bloom deep behind the mid lane here. I feel like I've missed the kills on the Largo because all I want to do is watch Bloom wander around and look for the picks. But here we go, going on a Weetorm, but the damage coming out from Weetorm onto Privasikid. They're going to take him down again. In comes Bramix from the back this time. He was going to fiddle with that... that shrine, took the observer, but coming in from behind, securing the kills. Now going back for the shrine. Bloom's over here as well. 7 Deadly Sins on the Necro has come in to try and secure it, but he's actually going to get caught out. This is the Radiant carry here. 2 supports on top of him on the Wisdom Shrine, but can they do enough damage? There's the hook as well. Looking like he could get a kill onto someone here. Denza coming in to help, but they are going to take down 7 Deadly Sins. Don't get the Wisdom Shrine, though. Bloom dragged back onto it. He's going to run the other way, which is going to mean he's going to take the aggro, and Bramix is going to be able to TP out if he wants. Oh, no. Privasit coming in, looking for him. Does get the TP, though. Patiently held it, and down goes Bloom. Denza picking up that 5 times kill streak. Surf rotated up for it as well. Absolute chaos on the Radiant Wisdom Shrine. Has anyone picked up the Dire? Yeah, who picked up that Dire Shrine? I think Rinkaroo got the Radiant, so Dire just went to Maheshwara. God, I hadn't even noticed the name. That is a hard one to say. We'll see how that goes in the middle of a fight. Up in the top lane, looking at like death for Denza. Bloom here still causing chaos. We Torm in with the damage. There it is with the raise. Getting the finish onto Privasikid once again. Privasikid. Oh, Pivasikid. Why have I been saying Privasikid? Don't mind me. Pivasikid is not having the best time here. How many deaths are we on that lad? 4. You know what? It feels like more. So clearly not doing too horrendous. Bloom here. Is he going to look for a hook? He is looking. You can tell he's looking. He wants something. But the Radiant are gathered. ShiShuli looking to keep... Well, bait in, maybe. Not just keep their Rubik alive. Maybe bait in a kill. But there's the hook. Pivasikid in deep. There's Weetorm. Emo over here as well. Surf coming in with the AD, though, in the Dragon form. Weetorm picking up another kill onto Rinkaroo before he's taken down with the first scythe of the game from 7 Deadly Sins. Chase there onto Bloom. This pudge has caused them so many problems. They want him. They want revenge. Surf going underneath the tower as Emo takes down Denza on the other side of the fight. And Surf going to be forced to back out, but they might pick up a kill here onto Bramix. Can they get it? 7 Deadly Sins looking to follow up. They get the Death Pulse damage, and there's the Fire Breath to finish off the Treant Protector. Now, once again, on the hunt for the pudge. Will he find it? Dragon form still has just under half the remaining duration. And there's a Bloom being caught around the front of the tower. But Weetorm's back in. They're looking for 7 Deadly Sins. There it is. Goes down, I think, to the creeps there. Surf could be in trouble as well. Weetorm finishing him off. Oh, I don't know who's coming out on top here. Actually, I do. Dota provides that information for me. It's business. My 7k lead right now. That fight, actually, no, fair enough, did swing a little bit in favor of ShiShuli, despite losing all 5 of their heroes across a pretty extended time period there. So back over to the mid lane. It seems like, you know, we had a bit of a brawl for a good 5 or so minutes there in that top lane. Maybe not 5 minutes. It just makes it feel like 5 minutes. Not because it's bad, I swear. It's a fun time, but everyone decided to split up a bit now. I think maybe not sure if they're all getting value or not. As we said before, they did get a lot of kills on Business Mice, but the gold exchange was slightly in favor of ShiShuli, at least according to that battle recap. So Emo hanging around the mid lane here. 3 heroes are sitting here. I will say during all of this, Maheshwara has just sat in this bottom lane and farmed. Just had a great time. Taking a look at the net worth here. You know, it's led by Weetorm and Maheshwara. So, you know, like, the fight is all well and good, but you've got to think about what you're spending and where the other heroes are. And speaking of the other heroes, here comes the Sand King. Maheshwara with the first ult of the game. Does get the kill onto 7 Deadly Sins, but is taken down by a collection of Radiant resources there. Lovely hook from Bloom, but he's on the wrong side of the fight. Is he going to be able to finish off Denza as Bramix plays very aggressive in trying to be the front line, but is taken down by Surf in the Dragon form. Emo now sitting here. Bloom still available. Weetorm with the damage. Frog's coming out there with the little stun from Piosik, but not going to be able to stop Weetorm running over. But Surf on the side, able to pick off Emo. And now looking to dive the tower. There's the hook, though, to save his carry. And an ult coming out, but there's the scythe. Cancels the ult, doesn't get the kill. He's going to go for it again. Everybody running away has cancelled it. How much damage are we looking at from this? Don't quite see in time. There's the fear. 7 Deadly's into trouble. Taken down by Bramix. A lot of damage from Bloom there. And finally, Surf out of Dragon form. Caught on the backlines here. Just a little too deep when everybody rotates in. Whew. These teams are happy to brawl. So a nice little sort of 1,000 gold swing there for the Dire here. Business Mice having a good time. As I was saying before that fight, looking at that net worth, obviously Weetorm having a great time. And then we've got Maheshwara just farming up on that bot lane. I mean, there's such a big gold gap. We've got about, what's that, 2k? 1.5k? No, it's basically 2k, 2 and a bit k between the top 2 spots. All top 3 spots held by the Dire. But Weetorm just running away with this in terms of gold. He's been doing great in these fights. Little kill there on to the Rubik. Now Bramix in trouble though. Emo gonna leave him for dead. Bloom once again just in the mix in these fights. He's an absolute terrorist here. They are gonna look to catch him though. They do lick him back, but P.Va-Sick, not with a lot of resources, has no mana, no items really. Not having a fun time. Actually below the support Pudge in terms of net worth. Now they're gonna try and push them out from under the tower. Bloom quite low, but does manage to make it out the backline. Oh no, he hooked Maheshwara out. The epicenter is nerfed in value as he's removed from the fight. Emo very low. They did manage to pick up 7 deadly sins there. Denza picking up Bramix. Down goes Emo though, but Weetorm coming in with the return on to Surf. Now looking to chase down Denza. It's Weetorm they really got to take out. He is the one causing them so much trouble in these fights. Bloom finally going to go down there with a right click. No, I think the mischance actually they saved him. A little bit of uphill mischance as Weetorm with the dominating streak, taking down Denza on that. Balloon Lady? What the hell is her name again? Dawnbreaker. It always comes to me, just sometimes 10 seconds late. Maheshwara back to farming here. P.Va-Sick, what are you doing? I don't know how he got here, why he got here, but a mile out of position and is going to be taken down. This offlane Largo is having a terrible time. Only 3.3k net worth, has phase boots and a soul ring. Working towards a Kaya, but he's going to be a long time off that. What I'm assuming would be a Kaya into Ags. Pudge with the Tranquil Boots has actually gone straight in for a Consecrated Wraps. 4k net worth ahead of the enemy offlaner. You know, he's able to tank up a lot. He's got 9 Flesh Heap. That's going to be an extra 18 strength, so nearly 2 Ogre stats. Throws out the Hook Blind, doesn't quite get it. Is going to get stunned up and is stuck in that Largo Stomp as well. Here comes the damage coming out of Surf, and that is going to be a kill on to Bloom. So he may be tanky, but he can't do whatever he wants, at least not at the moment. Still got to be a little careful when you're moving around these fights. Well, I say moving around these fights, moving around the map. He was deep in there, and it wasn't even for a fight. Mage Slayer nearly finished here on the Dragon Knight. Dawnbreaker still having a bit of a rough time. Actually working on a headdress. Going for drums. Okay. Honestly, couldn't say what the build should be on a Dawnbreaker, so maybe not my place, but blink up on Maheshwara on that Sand King. Really nice to see. Then going in for the... What is this? Is this the rest of Shiva's now? I forget. No, Bloodstone, sorry. Going in for the Bloodstone. Which would be a nice pickup for the sustain. You know, we're not really able... Oh, but they're going in here for a kill onto the carry. Necrophos, down goes 7 deadly sins, 2 ults, and that is all is needed. Buyback on Rinkaroo. Not sure why. They're looking for the kill on the Weetorm. This could be huge for them. Down he goes. But Rinkaroo getting the kill. Maybe not where you want that money to go. But they do need to slow down this Shadow Fiend any way they can. So let's say kill secured in this one. Bramix looking to come in from the side. There's Maheshwara in onto Rinkaroo. Rinkaroo going to go down here in the Sandstorm. Not quite. But Emo going to pick it up with the Illusionary Orb. Oh, a little tip there for Bramix. How lovely. Got to see the supports getting some value here. Yeah, it's Largo just having a really tough time. He's not really able to just get his song off and move around the fight and provide that sustain. Here he is looking to chase down Maheshwara in the river, but this guy is fast. He's taking little ticks of damage, so not able to get that blink off. The rotation's coming in now. Here they go, going in, but a beautiful Burrow Strike out. Does get stunned up by Surf, though, and I think he's going to go down here, ticking down a little bit to the Mage Slayer damage, and there is a final right-click from Surf in the Dragon form to finish it off. Bramix, Emo, and Bloom were coming in from the side here, and now it's going to be Emo caught, but does use that Illusionary Orb to blink out up onto the high ground. Can't be seen and is going to TP away. Now Bloom and Bramix need to escape. Bloom back to the safety of the tier 1. Looking for a TP on Bramix. Can they find him and get the stun? No! Oh no, the Frog Stomp just going in a little bit to the side of him, and he's gonna make it back to safety. So again, they do pick up Maheshwara there, but it's a lot spent. And not necessarily in abilities, but time. 4 heroes chasing around that bottom side of the map. They lost their carry for him to even be close in that bottom side of the map to fight. And yeah, they've just spent a long time not gaining anything in terms of gold. Meanwhile, Weetorm up here just farming his life away. Did go Falcon Blade, so, you know, a little bit behind some other items. Not necessarily behind, sorry, a little bit away from some other items. Working on that Silver Edge. Looking for the break, which I think is going to be really nice into the DK, into the Necrophos. Get rid of some of that passive abilities that they have. Make them a little bit easier to kill, but they've not really been having any big issues killing them so far. The Shadow Blade will allow him to position himself, assuming he's not under vision, so... 7 Deadly Sins up here. Could get caught out by Bloom and Weetorm. They are going to see him. Out goes the hook. Oh, just missing. It does have the Aether Lens queued up, but not available yet. And Weetorm is going to go down. They do secure him with a lot. Maheshwara getting a kill onto Denza over in the bot lane. Little help from the team. TP's coming over now. Bloom surviving as long as he possibly can. There's the Dismember, going to get him some extra strength and keep the dragon in here for a little longer. Beautiful leash from the puck. Maheshwara coming in with the triple kill. Surf looking to get away, but it's not looking like he will. Emo doing a bit more damage. They do miss the Burst Strike. This could spell a little bit of trouble for them. Nope, there it is. Silence and Illusory Orb. Emo takes the kill onto Surf. Phenomenal play from Maheshwara, but all set up by that really nice Dream Coil from Emo on the puck. Insane Dota called from Taylor in the chat, and I have to say, yeah, this is fast-paced, exciting Dota that doesn't want to stop. Right, so teams coming back up. We've got ShiShuli looking to get back into this game, but no, in goes Maheshwara. And he's basically able to take down the Necrophos solo. This shouldn't be the case, but it is. 15k lead, spelling doom, it looks like, for ShiShuli. But who knows, maybe there is a comeback they can make yet. They've been able to get some little picks here and there. Unfortunately, the rotations from Business Mice have been very well coordinated and fairly fast. You know, their struggle to take down the Pudge has got them locked into, baited into some somewhat poor fights, such as under that tier 1 top, as we saw before. But running down Smoked with that speed song coming out of Pivasikid. They're looking for the Tormentor on Business Mice, but they are looking for Business Mice on ShiShuli. In comes Emo from behind, though. Does get the silence on to the Dragon Knight and the Largo. There's the Dream Coil coming out of the Rubik, but he's got the Illusionary Orb. Can he use it to get away? Stunned up and taken out by Weetorm. Scythe not quite gonna land. In comes Denza on the Dawnbreaker with the ult, gonna provide some healing. Can they get this sustain working for them in this fight? Silence coming through as they pump damage into the DK, and down he goes. Bramix, though, taken out by Pivasik on the backline, but the rest of ShiShuli are dead. It is purely Pivasik now, trying to make a run for it. Hemo Kid jumping in, but Bloom says no. I'd like some flesh heap from this, if you don't mind, sir. And down goes Pivasik. How much Fleep have we got on this land now? 11. 22 extra damage. Extra damage, extra strength, which does translate into extra damage, but, you know, not really the main thing you're looking for on a Pudge. Emo very low here as they look to do the Tormentor. I think he needs to get away. Weetorm as well. Maheshwara says, I don't give a fuck about you guys. I'm doing the Tormentor. If you die, that's on you. You know what? You got to respect it, but in comes Bloom now. Can he... I think Maheshwara is fine. I did think maybe he might die to this Tormentor. And it's close, I will say. He got down to about 200 or so health. But they are going to take down the Torm, and a nice little shard there for the Pudka. Really nice. He's picking up that Aether Lens, which means the shard is going to have extra value. You get the extra damage based on the distance that the hook travels. And on top of that, also shortens the cooldown if you hook an ally. But speaking of hooking, can he get Denza, who's just tried to get away there? I think he's made it away there with the Celestial Hammer. Mid lane, Rubik picking up the illusionary orb again. Emo gonna make his way out, not looking for too much trouble. You know, he wants one guy. He doesn't want 3 or 4. He's gonna hang around for the creep wave though. You're coming out. No blink on the DK as of yet. I really do think it's something they need. They don't have initiation in the off lane. They don't really have anyone else can jump. The Largo... Sorry, not the off lane. The Dawnbreaker's a support, isn't she? That is my bad on that one. But yeah, they don't have the initiation in the off lane because Largo can't really just run in a front line. He doesn't have the items. He hasn't had the game. The Dawnbreaker is a support and also wants to come in on the initiator. The carry's not able to jump in too deep. Necro does have the shard, but not necessarily wanting to be the point of contact given he is the carrier, needs to get some damage out. So realistically, a blink on this DK might help them out in getting some catch. But speaking of catch, the puck is in. Denza coming in to try and help his team out, but Rinkaroo gonna go down on that Rubik. Kick out by Bloom, gonna take down Denza. Now it's Surf in the line of fire. We got 4 dire heroes here. 7 deadly sins on the side, not wanting to come in and die for his mid laner, and I think appropriately so. He's going to retreat as Emo gets the kill on Surf. 4 dead on the side of ShiShuli, and damage starting to fall on these tier 2 towers. They're even rotating a couple of heroes into the mid lane, looking to get multiple towers here for this team. Team kill. Or almost team kill, to correct myself. They've actually left, going for the mid tower instead of the bot tower. They've abandoned the bot tower mostly, getting a ward up on the high ground there. Be very nice for them. Looking for the catch over here. It's Maheshwara. Not gonna manage to catch 7 deadly. Knows he's in the area though. Ping coming out there onto the Business Mice Sand King. Now they want to jump, but there's a hook! Using that vision planted by Bramex, hook out from Bloom, and a kill for Weetorm on to the enemy Largo. Again, that is their offlaner. That should be their front line. That should be their sustain in the fight, but struggling to provide it. And now that he's dead, it's looking like they could have a shot on high ground if they want on the side of Business Mice. Waiting for the creeps. It looks like they're going to go for it. They're feeling confident. 27k lead at 25 minutes. Up they go, clearing out this creep wave. The steal comes from the Rubik. Picks himself up Stinger. Honestly, not the ability you want, I don't think. Well, maybe it'll come in handy for clearing the waves of super creep. Surf TPing in onto the side, looking at the flank around the back. Hook goes out, doesn't catch. In goes Emo though, gets the silence onto the Dawnbreaker. Beaver Sickid coming back in. Here comes Surf from the side with the dragon form. Does get the stun out onto Maheshwara, slowing down the ult if he can have it. The leash coming out with the dream coil on the Rubik is beautiful, but Maheshwara coming in. They haven't managed to take down a single member of Business Mice in this fight. Down goes Surf. They've lost the Largo. Buybacks coming out left, right, center, above, and below. We've got Surf, Rinkaroo, and Denza looking to secure this fight, but no dragon form available. Rinkaroo down, Denza soon to follow, and Surf, although a bit tankier, isn't going to be too much trouble for Business Mice. GG is called on ShiShuli, and that is going to be game 1 of this best of 2 series, going to the Business Mice, or the Business Mises. But no Roche taken, so still no cheeses for us, Mises. Well, there it is, game 1. I think a pretty decided victory for Business Mice, but only sort of towards the end. You know, they had that gold lead for a lot of the fight. Let me take a quick look at this graph. Yeah, I mean, in general, their lanes went well, you know. They really did a lot to that Necro. Weetorm just had an absolute field day. Top against the Largo. Mid, maybe a little bit more balanced. But then coming into the fights, they maybe started to not throw things away, but maybe lose a bit of value when they started to brawl massively in the top lane. And we did see some good movement and some good fights at times coming out of ShiShuli, looking to nuke people down, a couple of good kills onto Weetorm. But in the end, just not enough to take down, you know, all the damage that they had on the side of Business Mice. I think Weetorm, maybe they went for the sustain. They were up against the damage, and the lane's not going well. The heroes couldn't perform the way they wanted them to. And it just didn't work out, unfortunately. But we do have a game 2, so there is a chance for them to make a comeback and, yeah, show us some more lovely Dota. I mean, honestly, an all-out brawl of a game. Very enjoyable to cast, so I'm definitely not upset there's another one coming. And I hope you're not either, because it is coming very shortly, and we will be back with that soon. So see you then. I unmuted the wrong audio. We'll try that again. Hello and welcome back to IDL Season 7. This is Division 1 Business Mice up against ShiShuli, Game 2. I'm Volgus, and if you weren't here earlier, I'm solo today, so I am joined by the lovely, most Irish man there is, Barack Obama. Yeah, so Business Mice taking Game 1. Arguably somewhat definitively. It was a shortish game, big gold lead, but I mean, a big fight put up by ShiShuli, definitely not going down easy. ShiShuli with first pick this time. We've swapped sides. Business Mice picking up the Radiant. Band-wise, looking reasonably similar. Actually, all the same bands coming out of Business Mice. And ShiShuli going with Treant Protector, getting rid of Bramix's hero, banning out that Tusk, and this time getting rid of the Rubik, which they ran last time for Rinkaroo. But the IO ban not going through, and he's going to be picked up by Business Mice. I swear to God, if Bloom plays IO, he's going to be my new favorite player. Yeah. 10 seconds remaining. I'm very sorry, but like Pudge and IO are such great heroes. Like a well-played IO is so fun to watch, I think. It depends how they play it. There's a... No, he's not Russian. There's a... So he's somewhere in Europe. He might be Finnish player by the name of Nukamati, who plays Tusk and plays IO, and his IO is a lot of fun. Recommend finding that build to follow. So Techies first pick this time for ShiShuli. They went first pick and use it on the Techies, so clearly something they wanted to make sure they got. Interesting to see who's playing it and where it's going. I'm assuming support, but which one of them plays it remains to be seen. Hey, they could throw this mid. Maybe it's carry Techies. Maybe it's something really crazy, you know? So, a couple of carry bands there, along with the Disruptor and Nature's Prophet coming out pick 2. Oh my god, they're going global. Nature's Prophet, obviously, with the TP. Could be a core role, could be a support if they wanted. I would say these are their two supports, lacking a few stuns here. But speaking of stuns, coming out with a Magnus on ShiShuli, swiftly followed by a Grimstroke. So they're going for some links here. We'll see Magnus having an AoE ultimate. Not necessarily what you need a link for, but we could see something follow up, which is going to be good value for the link. Obviously, even just with Grimstroke himself, link two heroes, silence them, that stuck together. We saw it yesterday. We saw some beautiful Lich and Grimstroke play coming out of, I can't remember which team it was. I just remember it was Black Widow on the Lich, who we did interview afterwards. If I take a quick look here, it was Fost team, I think. Yeah, so it was Black Widow, and he's down as XM here, but I can't remember what he was in game the other day. But back to the game we are currently in. The Bristleback and the Dazzle pickup coming out of Business Mice. So they're going to have that sustain there. They're going to have a Bristleback who's able to sit in the fight, run around, have a great time, and Dazzle just going to keep him alive. But the Doom coming out from ShiShuli. This could be an amazing Doom pickup, actually. Not only do you have the Grimstroke, so we better see a double Doom, but on top of that, we've got like so much healing in the IO and the Dazzle on the side of Business Mice that they're just not going to be able to use. The Dazzle pickup does probably push this Prophet into a core position, so maybe a carry Prophet, because it's got to be an offlane Bristleback, right? Leaving the need for a mid, but they're assuming mid Prophet or mid Dazzle, actually, it could be, I suppose. From ShiShuli, you're assuming, is they're banning out a carry here. And I think rightfully Business Mice assuming ShiShuli needs a mid. Although they could pick up a support here, throw that Techies mid if they really wanted to. Chances are they are going to be picking up their mid hero last. Questions from chat, expecting an Obama impression. I really don't think I can do one. I can't even remember what he sounds like. But obviously he's very Irish, so I'm assuming he wears the homers. Will Mrs. Obama be joining the stream? I don't think Michelle's about, unfortunately. We didn't have the budget to get Michelle as well. It's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. Yeah, it's the Invoker ban coming out. I think this is they banned it last time on Business. No, they didn't. Did they ban it on ShiShuli? Someone banned Invoker last time. It was whoever picked the puck, which was Business Mice, had the Invoker banned against them because they banned Huskar and another annoying mid hero. to try and secure their pucks game. The Kez ban coming out. So, still assuming that Business Mice need a carry here. If they do go for a carry pick and they do put, say, the Dazzle mid, it needs to be something. I guess arguably currently they don't have a lot that works with the IO. And I wouldn't have picked Kez or PL to do that. Realistically, I'd be a little more worried about the concept of, like, I don't know, a Luna or a Gyrocopter. Obviously, nobody really wants to be doomed, but a hero that can still right-click through it is going to be good. Both work well with IO. Lifestealer is out. I mean, Kez wouldn't have been bad, to be fair, so not a bad ban on that one. Trying to think of other options here now. Honestly, Slark, not the worst, but Slark, useless if he gets doomed, so... I mean, most heroes are useless if they get doomed, really. That's kind of the point of Doom as an ability. If the hero was fine, then it would be a really useless ultimate, wouldn't it? I didn't really think about it before, but the Grimstroke really nice with the IO, because if you link either the... If you cast your ult on either the IO or the hero they're trying to link to or trying to play around, it's really hard to keep that distance where you can still hold tether, but not get linked by the Grim ult. So, going to be an interesting one there. Business Mice banning out the puck here. Guessing they're banning for them, like, the actual player rather than stuff they're worried about. I guess equally, puck into an IO, it's the same thing as that sort of group up, and they're not wanting to have AoE abilities thrown at you. But the tiny pick coming out last for ShiShuli. So this will be a mid-tiny, I think, in a carry Doom. Oh no, it's Lone Druid. It's going to be IO and the bear forever. Wait, Emo plays the IO? I'm so confused what is going on here. Emo picking up the IO, which would leave the Dazzle for Bloom. There it is. I really thought that would be the other way around, a mid-Dazzle and a Bloom IO, but Bramik's on that Nature's Prophet here. Yeah, definitely, definitely interesting. I mean, Lone Druid is a nightmare, and it's just throwing that bear down lanes, forcing your enemy to commit resources to it while you're farming the whole time. They don't necessarily have a ton to deal with the bear. Don't think they have a lot of straight up sort of damage to come out. They do, obviously, they have it if they cast spells, but if they're avoiding using too many resources on the bear, it will be a problem. Meanwhile, the rest of the team, I think, just going to wreak havoc on the side of Business Mice. Now, look, we could see some really great plays from ShiShuli. I'm not certain how this tiny is going to work out. It does look like it might be playing into an IO, unless we're seeing a mix-up of the roles and positions on Business Mice, which could be the case. Yeah, offlane Magnus going to be laning with that Techies, I think, and then Doom Grimstroke, which feels like it could be a very nice lane in the safe lane there for them. They are going into Bristleback and Dazzle by the looks of it. So, yeah, that could be a rough one for them still. I think it all kind of pivots on whether or not Peeversickid can manage to lane into Weetorm this time. I think that was kind of the crux of their game. In game one was that the Largo just had a really, really bad time, which made it really difficult for them to sort of move on from that and do anything further. So this time, if they can correct that, hold on in the lanes a bit better, do something mid, I'm not sure what it's going to be, as I've already stated, it seems to be an IO mid, unless they are rotating the positions around, which they could be. I think IO laning with this Bristleback would be the way to play it. I think IO will be really strong with the Bristleback. You can run the Dazzle mid reasonably okay. It can be quite strong, and then go from there. But as I said last game, my predictions only matter so much, as all I can do is guess, and the players will show us what they are going to do very shortly. As we get into this game 2 of this Division 1 series, ShiShuli versus Business Mice. Business Mice on the Radiant this time, ShiShuli on the Dire. I'm sure that will trip me up at some point in this series. But they're moving out of the base, down the river, and looking to get started in this game. So once again, they're doing the same thing, sort of straight down the river. Are they going to smoke up again before the... No, they're going to go through the gate first this time. Smoke up on the other side, I assume? Oh, they're going to save the smoke because they want to get more value out of it. So that makes sense. Yeah, looking to play aggressive here, possibly. Bramix sitting safely behind the tower. It could be Weetorm that they catch if anyone. The bear is around. They don't want to run into this bear, but they are going to. There it is, straight up onto the bear with the Magnus. Gonna give them away. And just gonna be a swift retreat, I think, here from Weetorm. Here goes the techies. They are throwing a lot to secure this bear level 1. They do get it, and it's 40 seconds without the bear, and it's all well and good, but I think by the time the lane really kicks off and he needs the bear, it's going to be back up. So the mana used to secure the kill on the bear, you know what? Maybe it was worth it, maybe it wasn't. Someone of a higher rank and analysis ability will have to let me know. Do pop the smoke, though, to help them get back to lane a little faster by the looks of things here. Bramix just throwing a little bit of harass there out onto the Tiny. And, yeah, everything has moved around here. So, Doom, once again, ShiShuli just don't want to let me work out where they're sending things. Surf going mid with the Doom. Tiny is going to be the carry, which I actually think I prefer. He picks up a break, and he can deal with the Bristleback. He can run around and take out some of these squishier supports. But this offlane is exactly as suspected. Meanwhile, Dazzle up here in the offlane with Maheshwara as we thought, and the Io actually going to be in the mid lane. So as for how this matchup's going to go, it feels like it should be very heavily favored for Doom. But looking at how it's going right now, I think there's a lot that remains to be seen. Clearly decent damage coming out of the Spirit. It's going to be able to link to these creeps to get a little bit of bonus push here. Surf trying to do what he can, but he's trapped in the tether. Could this be first blood one way or the other? Now looking to run down Surf. One more Spirit. Not needed. The right click's enough. Emo's mid IO takes down Surf's mid Doom in the first couple of minutes of the lane. You know what? I don't know if anyone had that bet on. I don't know if that was offered as a... what do they call it in the bet? I'm not a betting man. Well, I am every so often for a bit of fun, but not a regular betting man. And is it an accumulator where you choose really random stuff that can happen in the game? You know, like blah-de-blah gets a sin bin at 40 minutes and stuff like that? No idea. But look, I wouldn't have had that one on my bingo card, that's for sure. I wouldn't have expected to be crossing it off. But here we are regardless. And looking at the last hits as well, Io does only have 7. Tiny having a fairly good lane. Lone Druid not so much, but Doom is really struggling in that mid lane, having already died. Now being forced back once again. It's definitely going to be a little bit of trouble for Surf. Down in the bot lane, Weetorm holding out fairly well, as you'd expect. He has a bear. You know, like, if someone comes to my house and they have a pet bear with them, honestly, you know, they can take whatever they want. I'm not gonna stop them. I don't want to fight the bear. And oh, but Pivasic does want to fight the bear. He gets it under the tower. I guess I don't have a tier 1 tower at my house. But Rinkaroo could pay the price here. Does take a lot of damage just because Pivasic had decided to drag a bear under the tower. You know, I think, honestly, good rule, just don't let bears in your home. If you don't let bears in your home, they can't kill your supports that obviously live in your home. Emo in the mid lane still shoving out the Doom. Surf still only on 6. Last hits 12 for Emo. So now on double the last hits. Meanwhile, the Techies is going to fall in the bot lane. Taken down by Bramix, actually. The bear getting sent home for a little bit of healing and will soon be brought back because Lone Druid is a perfectly balanced hero with a bear. Mid lane, Surf in trouble again. Just don't walk into that tether, surely. Come on. So, as the Dazzle goes down in the top lane, can Maheshwara chase this down? The ink's well used. Not going to get the stun, though, but a beautiful body block by 7 Deadly Sins. Maheshwara, though, just quite happy to sit under the tower and tank it into his back to get more quill sprays off. What I was going to say was Emo here going for this. I think it's a little outdated now. I'm not sure. But this sort of classic Helm of the Dominator build we saw a few patches ago with the Io, when I think it was more Io carry than anything. Tiny does go down in the top lane. Doom goes down in the mid lane, and it's starting to look like everything is coming up business mice once again. So already a real struggle in the lanes once again for ShiShuli. Gonna have to do a lot to bring this back if they're gonna be looking for a draw in this series. Ivasikid does get rooted. Yeah, the bear, another one of these where they changed the random chance, I think, to an accumulating counter. Which has been an interesting choice that has sort of gradually happened across most abilities in Dota that were random chance. I say most, it's probably not. I've not looked at the actual numbers, but a lot of them. It feels like a lot of them. I kind of miss it, the random chance, the praying to Gaben for the RNGs. Surf there, coming up to D-Ward. Emo making him pay for it with a lot of damage. 2-level lead here on Emo. Not exactly, but, you know, in terms of the straight numbers, but if we're rounding, it would only be a level. Last hit-wise, Bristleback absolutely storming away, but Tiny not having too bad a time, able to pick up those jungle camps. Hasn't picked up the level in Toss yet. We saw this yesterday in Division 2, in Tiny just sort of maxing out that Avalanche and the Tree Toss and not going for Avalanche. Not going for the Grow, sorry. Out comes the Inkswell as he is getting chased down. Doom going to go down once again, this time with a rotation from Bramix, but Maheshwara picking up the kill here onto the carry Tiny. But Emo running away with this mid lane, and I can only assume it's going to get bigger, badder, and better as soon as he gets that Helm of the Dominator. When he can pick up his own creeps, not have to link to these lane creeps or these supports, and go around and farm the jungle himself with his little buddy. They're basically just going to have 2 lone druids. You know, they're going to have Weetorm on actual Lone Druid and Emo on Lone Druid from Wish. Also the homebrew Lone Druid.
It's beyond comprehension.
He didn't buy the whole package from the company, but he's got all the parts and he can do the same job. Weetorm, though, is in trouble as the gank comes through from Tiny. 7 Deadly Sins looking for the kill here. The rotation in from Emo. Can he do enough? Links to the bear. They're going to be able to keep Weetorm alive as well with that Shallow Grave coming out of Bloom. Not necessarily quite needed. And Emo picking up 2 kills there onto Rinkaru and Pivasikid. So all in all, what should have been a big gank for the side of ShiShuli has gone downhill and been taken in Emo's place instead. Down goes the mid tower, Emo just running away, and there has been a pause from Emo to claim lags. Okay. I mean, honestly, if you're playing this well with the lag, I think just bite the bullet, you know? You're clearly doing okay. Take one for the team. Let's just play the game. Now, obviously, wanting to fix any problems they may be having. So, if you're out there DDoSing anyone from Business Mites, if you could please refrain so that we can get back to the game, as clearly they won't play with their DDoS lags. Although I think, is it technically, if someone was DDoSed, would they just fully be DC'd? I don't know. Not experienced in this field. I've also ran out of indescript sugar-free cola drink. There we go. See, I don't have to say the obligatory message today because I've not said anything that could bring complaints to the Irish Dota League scene. Any more information? No, but Doom has disconnected as well. So we've had Maheshwara out and Surf. Looking like we could be setting up for something here on the 7-minute shrine. Oh, they both came back at the same time. So they both left for a little bit, and then they both came back into the game at the same time. I mean, coincidence? I don't think so. I think that there's something going on between Maheshwara and Surf. I think we might have a little IDL affair going on here. Ooh la la. Love is in the air. But it's going to be violence, chaos, and possibly a techies in the air in the bot lane as they set up to get this Wisdom Shrine. Bramix looking for the steal, and he's got it! He's got it before they even come in. He may pay with his life, but in comes Weetorm. There's the techies in the air as talking about securing that kill onto Bramix, but Pivasikid is in trouble as the true form popped on the Lone Druid. You cannot cancel that even if you try. You can stun, you can do whatever. He's turning into a bear regardless. They are... Oh, no! Bloom with the Shallow Grave on the bear. TP out from Weetorm, and they're only going to lose Bramix for that. Picked up the kill on the enemy offlaner in the form of the Magnus, played by Pivasikid, and got the Wisdom Shrine as well. Although Wisdom Shrine is still available on the Radiant side, no one's picked that up yet, assuming that Bramix is going to get straight on that as soon as he respawns. Nope. He's come back in and started farming a camp. Someone get your Wisdom Shrine, lads, please. Ingo's 7 Deadly Sins looking to pick up the 2 supports as they pressure this bot tier 1. There's the trees, though. Cuts his way out. Ingo's Rinkaroo on the techies. Out comes the ult from Bramix, and it's so much damage. The supports have killed the enemy carry. They lose Bramix for it, but Emo now in. Looking to fight with Surf, but does get doomed. That's going to be Doom out and on cooldown for a little while. Rinkaroo died in the mix there as well, and he doesn't care that he's doomed. They are still chasing down Surf for the kill. His team has abandoned him. A little high five thrown out. It's almost the BM, and Bloom picking up Surf. Where'd this team go? They've left. Denza very low, actually, so, you know, maybe fair play on that one. Maybe there wasn't as many people there as I thought, but oh my, if you can't fight the IO, even when he's doomed, things are not looking good. And off to the side. Oh my god, he went deep. Bramix does pick up the kill onto Denza. Pays with his life, though, I think, going down to the tower. Greedy little play there from the business mice Nature's Prophet. So we saw him here, not quite at the point of, he hasn't even got Iron Branches on the bear, actually. I thought that would be the play, but I could be wrong. I know you basically build items and then you swap them over to the bear when you have a certain amount or something along those lines. But he's not there yet, so Lone Druid not going to be the force of nature that he will be later quite yet. But it doesn't matter, because you know who is the force of nature is Emo on this IO. Now with a haste rune, has a bottle, has that Helm of the Dominator. But we've not seen him sort of set up for this AFK farm we would usually see on these old carry tiny builds. So instead, sort of playing a little more aggressive. Rinkaroo taking down Weetorm in the bot triangle. Bramix returning the kill on to Surf, though. Where did Surf go down? Over in the mid lane, so I'm guessing he TP'd in for that one. Weetorm maybe getting a little bit aggressive. As I said before, not quite the force of nature he will become quite yet. There's Emo, though. The force of nature they do have. Taking down 7 Deadly Sins in the jungle. TPing out. Where's he gone? Over to the mid lane. Gonna pick up that rune, refill his bottle, and turn up later with a nice bit of shielding. So Pivasekid over here cutting some waves, trying to stop this aggression onto the top tower. They are going to have the treants if they want them in 10 seconds. Now, it's not a lot of creeps, and the tower will burn through them, but there we go. They've got a Bristleback that's happy to tank it. It's not going to be an issue for them. There's the treants coming through. Backdoor protection, though, just popping in time to negate a lot of that damage. Oh, Rinkaroo going in. There's the blast off. Only catches Bloom. There is a mine. Pops the shallow grave, though. Beautifully done, and they don't quite connect with the avalanche. Maheshwara doesn't care. He's going in. He's got an IO behind him, but there's the link and the silence. So what we were talking about in the lead up to the game was that they will be close together, but they managed to get rid of the silence and continue to aggress, taking down Denza on that Grimstroke. Surf here in the mid lane could be in trouble as 3 members and a Centaur move over. You know what? Fuck it. The Centaur's on the team. Welcome, Centaur, to Business Mice. Chasing down Surf, going up onto the high ground. They're going to die for it, are they? They don't have to. They managed to get him. Bramix there, securing that kill before the team has to commit to running under the tier 3 quite too far. So Weetorm over here just having a nice time taking a tower on his own, and it looks like rather than going for the Lone Druid, they're going to look to stop this big push of the 4 players mid, who are looking to hit up the high ground here. They're up onto the tier 3, feeling confident. There are mines, but not too many, but there it is! Oh no! It was a big RP, but he only got 1 with the skewer. And the pause. I think this could be a BM pause from his own team. That was so unfortunate. Oh, massive reverse polarity onto all 4 of them and then doesn't get them in. It was apparently for lag, but it has just given us a lot more time to consider what we just saw.
You can't improve until you make mistakes.
I mean, it's right. You can't improve until you make mistakes. Only a G from Seven Deadly Sins. Not a great Western Rail, only a great. Bramix could be in trouble. Out comes the Avalanche. There's the Shallow Grave, though. And Emo looking to get a stun with this Centaur. Oh, but Surf coming in from the side. Secures the kill onto Bramix. Has the Doom available. Throws it out onto the Io, but Maheshwara is doing deeps in the back. They get the kill onto Emo's Io. They did lose Grimstroke for it, but that's a great trade if you are ShiShuli. But Weetorm coming over, backed up now by Bloom and Maheshwara. They're going to take down Surf on the Doom. Are they going to look for more? They're still going to look for this tier 3. 3 heroes alive. It is the carry, the offlane, and a support on the side of ShiShuli. You'd think that they could do something, but it remains to be seen. I wouldn't be overly confident. And back in comes Bramix. It'll take Emo a little bit longer on the Io, unless he wants to relay in. Skewer back. There's the leash between the Lone Druid and the Bear. A lot of damage from the Avalanche. Beautiful kill there from ShiShuli. Taking down another. Piva Sikid is going to make it out with the escape. The Techies goes down, but in comes Emo, healing up Maheshwara. Bramix still alive in the back behind him. Only the Techies down on ShiShuli, though, but they have used a lot of ultimates to get the kills that they had. And Io gonna take the Bristleback back to base. TP out from Bramix. Can they catch him? They cancel the TP. Can they get the kills? Bramix taking down Piva Sikid before he dies. Is it worth it? I don't know. ShiShuli picking up a good amount of gold there from that fight because the kills they're getting are worth so much more due to the state of the game. They've hung on to their high ground here. They still have a tier 2 in the top lane, and I would tell you it is not over yet. Seven Deadly Sins has had some great kills. He's not picked up that Shadow Blade, actually. He's looking for it soon, picking up the Echo Saber. We're only 13 minutes in, 14 minutes in. How are we only 14 minutes in? I feel like this fight has gone on forever. I thought we were like 30 minutes into this game. My God. I know they say time flies when you're having fun, but I swear when Dota games get hot and heavy and busy, they just feel like a lifetime in the best way possible. So still looking to aggress in this mid tier 3. The top tower now gone for the tier 2 on the Dire side. We talked with the Bear. The Bear does now have the items. Gone for a Deso. Oh, but there it is. Beautiful play into the mines. Not quite, but it is enough. They do lose the Bear. Out comes the Shallow Grave onto Weetorm. They manage to heal him up. Emo picks up Piva Sikid on the back. There's the link between the Io and the Bristleback. But Surf in big trouble as he's come down off the high ground. They are going to manage to clean him up. Kill going to Bloom. Now looking for this tower as the rest of ShiShuli back off to safety. They have had a chance to lay down some mines, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough moving forward. They've got some tanky heroes here to deal with it. A Meteor Hammer picked up on Emo. I don't know what this build is. It just feels like he's buying whatever feels right at the time. Rinkaroo taking huge damage from these spirits. In goes Piva Sikid once again, not able to pick up a Skewer, is hit with the Inkswell, but he's going to be back to safety by the time that pops. There are pings coming out to attack. Are they going to be able to find anything? Toss goes into Piva Sikid. They drag back Weetorm. Weetorm summons the Bear, but there is the Shallow Grave, keeping Weetorm alive, keeping the Bear out of there, and Maheshwara going in deep, picking up the kill onto Piva Sikid's Magnus, but in goes Rinkaroo, not wanting to give this Rax up, but he might be giving up his life, and the Rax is already gone. There it is. Massive damage coming out of the Bristleback there with all of these stacks of his Warpath. Huge hits from the Bristleback. They've got the Deso on the Bear. If they want to go, the armor of these tier 4s won't be as big an impact as it otherwise would be. They seem to just want to go for the end, not wanting to bother with taking down the other Rex, which are providing bonus armor to the mid towers here in front of the Ancient. Still hanging around. Up comes the majority of ShiShuli, looking to do whatever they can. They don't want to call it. They don't want to give up. They want to try and turn it. And fair play. They've still got 2 sets of rack. But Piva Sikid not going to quite get that Skewer once again on the Magnus. Now retreating. Surf in the front lines. Has not got Doom for another 30 seconds. Denza on the side. The ults are available on other heroes on their team. But Surf very low with the... Oh no. Surf goes down. That was a pig Rinkaroo going to the depths of the grave. Buybacks coming out. Oh my god, but a beautiful RP gets the skewer. And down go 3 on the side of Business Mice, but 2 buybacks. Emo looking to get back in here. There's buybacks coming out left, right, center, everywhere, all over the shop. Rinkaroo gonna go down once again. Buyback on the Grim and the Tiny for ShiShuli, but they're getting forced back into their base. Can they get the Bristleback into the base? Not quite, and even if they can, will he die to the Quill Spray? But there it is, the Doom coming out now onto the Bristleback, but the tier 4s are down, and the Ancient is exposed. Looking to TP out. Can they get the cancel? It is going to keep resetting because it is his ability TP, but they are going to manage to take him down before he can get it off. Down goes Bramix on that Nature's Prophet. So is it a huge turn? Oh my god, the gold gain. It's 4,000 net gain on the side of ShiShuli. And that's even with all of the buybacks thrown out there, which is absolute insanity. But they did lose those tier 4s. And their Ancient is exposed. So they are losing a lot of buildings every time they scrap here in their base. And the next building in the line of targets is the Ancient. So this could be all over. But they're going to try and hold on. Denza nearly going down in the base. The toss back of the Magnus. I don't think it's what they wanted. Mahashwara getting the kill onto Surf. Emo takes down Rinkaroo. 7 Deadly Sins going in, trying to pick up anything, but he doesn't have the items to do it. The Ancient on a mere 600 HP and falling. Skewering to the base, it's Mahashwara, but the Bristlebacks are going to get the kills anyway. And down goes the Ancient for game 2, going the way of Business Mice. What a hectic game. It was only 18 minutes long. It went. That was just an 18-minute fight, pretty much. I think we got out of lanes at what, like 5 minutes, and then they just scrapped for the rest of the game. Yeah, absolute insanity. Where's the graph? I mean, pretty confidently in favor of Business Mice for most of that game. I mean, look, they just came out, they won the lanes. They won IO into Doom. You know, they won their off lane. They gave the Tiny a hard time, which was clear by the lack of items he had sort of moving further into. I say the lack of items. It was 18 minutes into the game. How mad can we really be? Then again, there was a Mask of Madness Treads and a Desolator on Weetorm's Bear. So the fact that Tiny only had the Echo Saber right at the end of the game, along with Treads, yes. But you know what? It was only about 2,000 gold difference between the Tiny and the Lone Druid. So maybe I'm wrong here. But 9k compared to 6k on Emo and Surf, respectively. So absolutely fucking crazy. Was there a rampage that I missed? I'm so sorry. But yes, that is going to be a 2-0 for Business Mice or Business Mises. I will point out again that there is that the difference between the average MMRs of these two teams is 4,000, which is a lot. It is a hell of a lot. So you know that is by the by. An unfortunate one in reality. What am I looking for here? I'm looking for the Discord to double check if anybody wanted a chat, but I'm not sure we have anyone. Oh, I don't have. That's the wrong. There we go. That's where I want to be. I don't know who that captain is actually, but anyone from Business Mice for a chat? I should actually check the game has ended. Yeah, okay, for you guys before I post this, and just sort of give everything away. We'll just at Weetorm. We'll at them all, shall we? Assuming they've got the same name in here. Okay, Emo doesn't, so we can't at Emo. Bloom? We'll at Bloom. And Mahe. Oh, it's Mahe, that's why. No, it doesn't have the same name. Okay, well, we'll at those guys. See if anyone's about. We'll give it a minute or so, and then we will wrap things up if not. But, I mean, look, they put up a really good fight on ShiShuli. I noticed the difference in the average MMRs right at the start. Didn't really know how this was going to work out, and I honestly think they put up a really good showing. It is obviously a little bit of a shame that the way the brackets have worked out, it is a little rough for some of these teams with the sort of lower averages in Div 1, but you know, they've clearly putting up a good showing. So who is to complain? Right, let me jump into channel here, and I'm assuming. Oh no, that's who is this? Who are you? Someone jumped in the general channel, and I jump in a channel can drag in. I nearly just dragged in whoever has jumped in general. So I don't know if that is someone off the teams or someone not. Just a quick reminder, as Taylor's asked in the chat, if you could please use English in the chat. I think just for, well, the sake of moderation to an extent. Our mid will chat. Who is that? Me. Okay, cool. Hello, I am assuming Emo.
Hey, yeah, that's me. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good, thanks. I've just realized my speakers have been on the whole time. I've done that again. So good job to my mic for filtering all that shit. How's it going then? 2-0? Feeling good?
Yeah, pretty good. You know, it's our first time playing as a team, so you know it's refreshing to win this.
How were you feeling coming into this? Were you aware of the sort of big MMR difference, or?
I wasn't actually into this game.
Okay.
Kind of realized it at the start,
Mm.
but I did hear that there are like some pretty good teams out here, so we're looking forward to
Oh yeah, I think
having some actually good matches.
I mean, honestly, it feels like I don't want to say it wasn't, fairly well played by you guys both games, as they were both pretty short games. But I will say, I think ShiShuli put up a hell of a fight. I don't think there was sort of too much of a stomp in most of the lanes, at least.
Yeah,
every time.
Yeah. They did play pretty good. I was actually surprised by their mid laner, since he's like I think Divine 4 or 5, but he put up a pretty good fight in both games.
Yeah. Speaking of the mid lane, we got to talk about this mid IO.
Yeah, that's my specialty. I got like 10,000 games on mid IO.
I hadn't done any research, so I had no idea. You picked up the IO, and I was like, oh, is this going to be a Bloom IO? This could be cool, because I'm a big Pudge fan, and he played the Pudge. I was like, if Bloom plays IO here and it's fun, he's going to be my new favorite player. And then you picked up the IO, he picked up the Dazzle. I was like, are they swapping positions? Are they doing Dazzle mid, and Bloom's going to go mid? And then I just noticed the IO into the Doom mid and was honestly shocked at how well it went.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I was actually one of the strongest mid laners now. I played it against pro players all the time, and you kind of stomp every lane.
What's the strategy here? Give us the brief rundown of the IO mid, because I saw you pick up the Helm of the Dominator, and I was kind of expecting you to then do the old carry thing of just retreat to the jungle and farm for ages, but you didn't. You then ended up with a meteor hammer, which seemed completely left field.
Well, usually you do go and hit some jungles and you can like go to lanes and get Ags, but this game was just like we were like looking just to end the game fast, since we had Laundrade, we had Dazzle, and they have like Tekis Magnus, so you don't want to like play 50-minute game, correct? So
yeah, I mean, I think you definitely got on top of their high ground before they'd even considered laying down a lot of mines.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened. So
was there?
We're glad.
Was there a big idea of sort of the global nature of your team? Because you had the Nature's Prophet, and obviously IO can drag another hero along with them with a reload.
Yeah, that's kind of what we were looking forward to. Since this is just like the start of the tournament, teams are like not played together. They haven't played like a lot. So being like super aggressive on the map kind of like makes you, I guess, it gives you the upper hand, since they don't know how to respond to this like as a 5-stack. So it's just like a strong run down of all lanes, win all lanes, and then just go down mid. That's pretty much all that happened.
Fair. So you mentioned, because this is your guys' first game, right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned you hadn't played together before. Is this sort of how did the stack come together? Or
we've never played like as a team, like a 5-stack, but we're like all fairly like the same rank. So we're like 1K ranks all, and we play in like pubs all the time. So that's kind of how we got together.
Is this you queue into pubs together, or you just accidentally queue into each other or with each other all the time?
Well, yeah, since there isn't like so many players in like rank 1K.
Yeah.
We kind of just like got played a couple times together, and then we were like, hey, let's let's add each other. And after that, like,
Yeah.
someone was like, do you want to play a tournament? I was like, yeah, sure, why not? So
It's such a weird thing to hear from like an Archon perspective, where like I'd never queue into the same, like, unless it's like a 5-stack late at night, we never queue into the same people twice. Whereas like you guys up at like 10k and around that area, it's like, oh yeah, we queue into the same people every 4 games. There's only 30 of us playing in this elo.
yeah, it isn't always the best thing, but but yeah, you kind of meet like a lot of people.
It sounds like there's more community spirit up in the mall, so not
Yeah,
that I have any
exactly.
plans. Yeah, so game 1, you guys were you worried about the level of sustain that they drafted? Because, Necro, Largo, DK, Dawn, it felt like they were just going to live forever.
Yes, they actually had a pretty good draft. I was I was more like on their part as like the draft goes. Like they definitely won the draft on that side. But I feel like at this point it's just we're talking more of like a skill difference, like as a team rather than like heroes, because they aren't played together, we aren't played together, but at the same time we're like twice their MMR, so
Yeah.
it was kind of hard for them to win lanes. But yes, if it were like equal teams, I think we were gonna lose the game because their lanes were super strong. I mean, I'm not saying they were bad. Okay, they were like pretty good. But it's just too much of a gap. It's like if you put Team Spirit against like a 10k MMR stock. So
Yeah, I mean, yeah, as I've said a couple of times, that I think it is a little bit unfortunate the way the MMRs worked out, but that's kind of by the by. There's only so much the organizers can do to sort of balance things out. And as you said,
yeah,
there's
yeah,
quite a few other very high MMR stacks, I'd say, that are definitely going to give you guys a run for your money, I'm sure. I do apologize. Is there anything else you want to throw out there, or anything you want to say about your team or to your team, or?
I mean, we hope to give you guys some actual good games, show you some new strats that we have, hopefully, and we'll definitely make a show.
Amazing. Well, I'm definitely looking forward to it, especially if there's going to be more weird and wacky pickups like the mid-IO.
Oh,
Although
trust
you
me.
seem to think it's not that wacky, but to me it's insane. I'm sorry to cut you off. We are going to have to wrap up here, as I thought we had more time, but the next series is starting very shortly, so we need to wrap up here so Taylor can take over and cast, I think it's Breakfast Club versus Full English Breakfast versus Mystery Machine, I think.
Well, good luck to them, and thank
Yeah.
you for having me. So
No, thank
have
you
a
very
great
much
day.
for coming for a chat, and best of luck to you and the rest of the team in your continuing games. Tell Bloom play more
Thank you.
Pudge.
Oh, I will. Have a great
Cheers.
day. Bye.
We'll catch you later, man. Well, there we go. Clearly, a fairly confident Business Mice victory and fairly confident players there. Looking forward to the rest of the tournament. But as I just said, we are going to have to wrap up. I'm going to be ending this stream, but do not worry. Taylor will be picking up very shortly. So stick around on the channel, and he is going to be turning up to cast, as I say, Mystery Machine versus Full English Breakfast. I think it's Full English Breakfast. Not Full Irish Breakfast. I don't know. Anyway, but from me, myself, and the most Irish man around, Barack Obama, that's going to be all. We will catch you when we catch you. See you later. But more Dota coming up very soon on this channel in like 5 minutes. So stick around for that. Goodbye.